So one of the main things that I get comments on is that I don't give Texas enough credit for the job that they've done this season underneath Steve Sarkisian. And I don't think that's entirely true. I just talk about other teams a little bit more. But when there is something to talk about with Texas, I will. And Saturday night was definitely a defining win in the Steve Sarkisian era for a grand scheme of reasons. If you are new here, welcome into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Guys, we have head coaching searches, we have bowl eligibility, we have conference clinchers, we have games that are going to go into the playoff, and there is really no offseason. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below telling me your thoughts on Texas and their 10-point victory in Ames over the weekend. Tell your friends, your family, your sister, your brother, your mortal enemies, your best of bros about this channel. And as always, let's continue to talk college football. By the way, if you want to continue to follow me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And also you can follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. It's the same as my YouTube channel. So Texas, 26, Iowa State, 16. And this is really big for a multitude of reasons. Let's start off with the first thing. Texas has had trouble playing at Jack Trice Stadium. This is not the first time that they were going into the trap where this was going to be a monumental game. 2 years ago, Texas made headlines for all the wrong reasons after taking a lead going into the half with a Heisman caliber running back in Bijan Robinson, and then they kind of collapsed. And that was the case in a lot of games that year. In fact, if you remember, Texas had the most second half losses, I think, of any team in college football. And then Bo Davis went on a giant rant that made headlines across social media and made headlines across college football realms. And it was all about the culture. It was all about the culture of the Longhorns locker room. And culture is a really big thing when we talk about Ames, Iowa, because Matt Campbell has been preaching that for years. I'm not sure many of you remember when they went and they played against Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl. And that next offseason, they were talking about how do we build off of last year? How do we build off of showing the world we are a legitimate threat to be a contender in the Big 12? And Matt Campbell came out and he said, we don't have five-star players, but we have a five-star culture. And that's been lingering alongside Steve Sarkisian for a while, because one of the main things that really had hindered Texas' success for years in Charlie Strong era, at the end of the Mac Brown era, throughout the Tom Herman era, was culture. They had players, they had talent, they had teams that could actually elevate their status of being legitimate threats to go to the college football playoff. I don't think anybody has ever denied that. And you look at the history of Texas's recruiting classes and Texas's ability to get the right players in the building and the transfer portal. Texas is a hotbed, and for good reason. It is the flagship of the state. They may play in the Big 12, but they land the big players too, because it's Texas. There's something about the insignia of playing underneath that burnt orange Longhorn logo. There's something about being in Austin on the 40 acres for a Saturday showcase. There's something about this team that you just resonate to if you grew up in the state. But culture had derailed this program, and it certainly did in 2021 when Sark got there. And that quote has lingered and hindered and been embedded inside of Sark's brain for years on end, for good reason. Because the only way that you're actually going to ever compete for a national title, the only way that you're going to compete alongside the Alabamas of the world and the Georgias of the world and the Michigans and the Ohio States of the world is with culture. And culture comes in many forms. It's not just every single Saturday winning. It's defining on how you win. How do you face adversity when you're down and out of the count? How do you go ahead and floor it when you know that you are all gas, no brakes? And that was another slogan for Texas, all gas, no brakes. Well, this was a game where there was a little bit of break, but it wasn't as much as we want to make it out to be. Very rocky start. I think we all can agree nobody expected Texas to be going into halftime up 6-3. I don't think anybody expected that. I think a lot of people believe that either Texas was going to be down because this is Jack Trice Stadium, a place where you've lost, a lot, and also a place where you know this is senior night. This is an opportunity for Iowa State to remain ahead in terms of making the Big 12 title game. And here they come, second half, and they start dialing up. And you watch as other players, not named Xavier Worthy, not named Jatavion Sanders, kind of take control of this matchup. Now, they all had plays, but we're talking about CJ Baxter running for a big 21-yard gain and picking up multiple first downs to move the sticks against a very stable run defense in Iowa State. We're talking about guys like Gunnar Helm catching a big 31-yard touchdown pass to extend the lead. We're talking about Quinn Ewers dialing things up on 3rd and short, and then 2nd and 7, and then 3rd and 8, and finding ways to keep drives moving in the right direction. And that's a testament of culture. And then you look at the defense right now. This was a dominant performance. This was, in my opinion, the performance when the committee is going to go look at resumes, at strength of schedule, at everything that goes into the final decision about who stands out. This is the game where you go ahead and say, this 9 rushing yards, 9. T'Vondre Sweat was phenomenal in this game. T'Vondre Sweat might be the most underappreciated defensive player in college football this year. He has been exceptional winning one-on-one blocks. He has basically swallowed running backs whole. It's like, do you ever see the movie? Do you ever remember the TV show Dragon Ball Z where Boo, that was one of the pink guy, and he was really fat and he got really thin and he would just, and then swallow people up and take their powers? Like, that's T'Vondre Sweat almost every play. He just finds his way into the backfield and basically makes you pay. That's what he does. And this was a huge testament when it came to their ability to make this offense one-dimensional. Now, I'm not saying it was perfect. I mean, Rocco Betch threw for over 300 yards, and he found the end zone twice, and he averaged, I think if I'm not mistaken, 10.2 yards per play. But they held him to 16 first downs. They were only 3 of 11 on 3rd down. They also couldn't run the football, 0.4 yards per play. In time of possession, Texas was able to win that battle. And it's not really that big of a deal because of, I think time of possession is overrated. You look at a roster such as Washington, if they can sling it around the yard like no one's business, who cares? They're going to get downfield. They're going to put up a lot of points, and they're going to find a way to be successful. But the fact is that in years past, Texas would lose this game. And I thought going into this weekend, 100% a trap game. This should be a trap game because it's Texas. At some point, the 9 lives of the Cats start dwindling down, and you're counting until you reach basically 0, and that's the breaking point. And this felt like a game where Texas, losing Jonathan Brooks, a key running back, was going to be hindered by their success. It's culture. That's what won this football game. And then you hear Steve Sarkisian afterwards talking about culture, and he's 100% right. And he did it in a kind way. Like, I think a lot of people think that he's going after a guy like Matt Campbell. No, he's doing it because of this is a testament to where they were at that very moment 2 years prior. 2 years ago, Bo Davis made resounding headlines. The internet broke because the people were tired of hearing about, oh my God, you got to see this clip. Oh my God, you got to see what happened on the bus ride back from Ames. You have to see this video. That's what happened. And 2 years later, Steve Sarkisian now has his first 10-win season as a head coach. Quinn Ewers played phenomenal. Didn't play elite, but he played phenomenal. They made up for what they were losing in terms of talent by building up and using the game plan in their favor. And that's a testament to the locker room status and where the team has come. You're talking about 5-star culture in Ames, Iowa. And I can tell you this much. Underneath the Matt Campbell-led squad, they have it. Matt Campbell will have his players, whether they're 3 stars, whether they're 2 stars, whether they're walk-ons, he will have them playing at an elite level because that's the kind of respect he demands. And Texas can say now the exact same thing. But they can also say, we have the 5-star players too. So who can stop us now? Not everything is going to be set in stone just yet. They still have to win on Friday against Texas Tech to guarantee their spot in the Big 12 title game. There's a lot of scenarios where if they lose to Texas Tech and then a bunch of other teams, there's 126 scenarios out there to where Texas may not make it to Arlington. But right now, if they play the way that they did in Ames and they treat it like this is a culture game, a game that they know they should lose. And by the way, last year against Texas Tech, this was a game they should have won. They had it. It was done. They were in Lubbock. Things were rolling. And by the way, then they blew it. Oh, and let's just add a little bit more fuel to the fire. You do realize Brett Yormark is going to be in attendance, and he has told Joey McGuire, finish the job. He does not want to see Texas hoisting up a Big 12 title, and he does not want to see Texas in the college football playoff. They need to hold on to that like it is basically a football, and they are the one character, I always blank on his name, Garrett Hudlin plays him, and his dad, Tim McGraw, tapes the football to his hands after the game. That dude. That's what you have to treat this game like. Treat those words and those remarks like that is your football and you are playing for Permian Odessa. That's the only way you're going to win this game, and that's the way you're going to convince the committee. That's the way you're going to convince the fans. That's the way you're going to convince everybody in college football. We mean business. We're not going away quietly. Big culture win in the likes of Ames. Big time victory for Steve Sarkisian's persona. Big time day, I think, for the Longhorns, who for years just find a way to Longhorn. Now they're finding ways to win. And that might be even better than Longhorn for a lot of college football fans that do enjoy seeing when the burnt orange and the white is actually winning and winning pretty soundly. Guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.